tour here was just electrifying. It was, you know, it was just so neat to see the fields and see the ideas of Christian and what he sees for the future of CLE. And one of the things I really found out is he's more vertically integrated than I thought. And so he's really taking control of his future. And it was really neat because, you know, you have people that buy tobacco and use a factory to make their product. He does everything from seed to plant to rolling to boxing and to your stores. And it's just amazing what he's doing. So he's going to continue to do amazing things for us, and I look forward to having more and more great relationships with him in the future.
We're here, walk all the way back here. Everything has to be counted, and these guys, over the years, they begin to know how many plants per acre, and they do all the measurements and everything. So tobacco starts here. These are the seed beds. The seed beds are the most important part of the process. The tobacco grows right from the beginning. If the seed bed is not right and the small plants aren't right from the very beginning, you're not going to have a good crop. So this is done on purpose for you guys to see, and we'll see some tobacco being spread today. Pues están poniendo semilleros ya, ¿verdad? Vamos a poder ver ahorita. You'll see how it gets spread. You know, this is what the seeds look like. So what they'll do is when they start spreading the seed, you put the seed in a can with a bunch of ashes. The ashes, of course, are white. The dirt is all going to be nice and dark, so when you spray with the ash, you see exactly what you sprayed. And they'll take out the best of that group. They come in they really come in with like a toothpick or a little wire. And the ladies, they work, and we usually use women because they have a lot more detail. Guys don't have that kind of detail. So, and they'll take all the little plants out and just leave one per tray. When the plants are growing, they'll mow them on top because they want to make sure that they're all at the same level, and you want to make sure that you have a real thick stem. They have a lot more nutrients, and they've been fertilized a lot more, so they're going to grow at a much faster pace. Here, the limited, just imagine how many nutrients are in that little amount of soil. Limited. Plus, what other thing that happens is, if you see this hair on the plant, the tobacco plant actually absorbs nutrition from there as well. The irrigation drip system, we consume a lot less water than normal. And everything you'll see a lot of the green signs everywhere. That's from Bayer. Bayer certified the farm. We have zero impact on the environment. Everything we do is very, very clean, very hygienic. And we do the same thing at the factory as well. Our product is 99% hygienic. I can't get the factory certified by Bayer because Bayer is not going to support a tobacco company. The farm they do because they just call it a farm. Yeah, settle down there, Rupert.
There you go.
So anyway, so you'll see things a little different. It's pretty similar as everywhere else. Just my father he turns 86 today. Today's his birthday. He's just one of these. Just doesn't care, man. He just doesn't care. He's allergic to profit. He's allergic to money. He just wants the stuff to be beautiful. So you'll see everything. He goes completely overboard. If you go to a tobacco field, you see how everything's perfectly aligned. It's beautiful. You know, we were just here, and we probably have some recordings. We'll probably show some of that as well. How they do the planting, which is a real beautiful. I could sit there for hours. Actually, we did sit here for like an hour every day, every morning, and just watch it happen. You know, because I like the care that he puts into it. Nice. Now you can pull it out. When they're in here without tobacco plants, they're competing for sunlight. So they do have some sort of thinking mechanism, or nature does it, which is amazing. You know, who intelligence system there? I don't know what it is.
Survival.
Right.
You know, it's the wrong approach is a hobby approach, because this is not a hobby. You know, it's a passion that you enjoy, and if it's just for your enjoyment, then having a retail store is not your business. But if it's something you want to share and engage other people into, and we're in the hospitality business, so you really want to try to find a way to give an experience that is rewarding to everybody that steps inside your store. So it starts with this. And as long as you have the passion for this and you enjoy this, you can share that with your customers, and then you grow from there. I'm Paul Groh. My wife Jennifer and I own Metro Cigars. We have 2 stores in Wisconsin. We have Metro Cigars Germantown and Metro Cigars Brookfield. We've been in business for 20 years. Amazing.
Here for about 45 days. This was climate controlled. It's called the Calfrisa. It's a system that the Cubans worked on for many, many years in the 90s, and it was picked up over here. If you notice that the whole barn is insulated with foam, because what you want to do is you want to make sure you dry the tobacco. You want the green gone, you want the chlorophyll gone, and you want to dry the leaf. When you do candela, the green stuff, what you do is you put the grills here at about 120 degrees. And what that does is the leaf dries, but the chlorophyll stays inside the leaf. And that's what makes candela taste so grassy and so green. I don't like it.
Isn't there a steaming process to make it into a wrapper?
No, just heat.
No, here, but once you apply it in the, you could apply it just
Ready to
from
roll,
here.
man.
Oh,
And my dad's biggest business in the 60s and 70s was candela for Coragua, which was bearing, the bearing cigars. What made that so good is that 48 hours here is dry, you pack the tobacco, you ship it and you sell it. This stuff here takes 18 months, man, it takes forever. Because it's got to sit here for 45 days, then it goes into fermentation. Fermentation could be anywhere from 3 months to 18 months, depending on what type of tobacco. Then you have to go to a sorting process, you have to do all these things, so it takes you a year and a half or 2 years to finally sell the tobacco.
and how do you take the ammonia?
The ammonia comes out on its own. You do in fermentation, you feel it. So that's one thing that's changed a lot over the years as well. All right, so in the 1990s, all cigars the cigar industry was dominated by Dominican cigars. And there's a lot of Connecticut wrappers, and when they want to go wild and crazy, they had Ecuadorian Sumatra, which is a darker color, but the cigar really wasn't a full body cigar. That's what made the Camacho Corojo so interesting and the Corojo seed so interesting at the time, because people didn't understand it. So in 2000, we started bringing customers down. 2001, we started bringing customers down here to explain it, because Camacho came out, it was a huge hit because there was nothing else like it at the time. But people didn't understand the Corojo seed. Back to what you asked me a little earlier, and that's when I got really upset. I was much younger, probably I should have acted a little smarter. Got really upset with Cigar Aficionado because they didn't want to cover the story of Corojo. Because this seed that my father had revived. Cuba abandoned that seed in 1987 because it picks up all the mold. It picks up 1 acre, only gives you about 1,200 pounds. Criollo 98 gives you 2,200 pounds, so it's almost double. Corojo gives you 25-30% wrapper, when the Criollo 98 will give you 50 or 60% wrapper. So of course, business-wise, Criollo 98 is a much smarter plant, much better plant. It's genetically designed. It's a great plant. So you go to a different country where you have different varieties, they don't grow those anymore. They grow the Criollo 98. And oftentimes they trick you. They call it the original variety, but it's not. So anyway, so we started bringing customers down here because I had to explain it to them one by one. And back then, marketing-wise, for every dollar spent, we're getting $40 back. So that made a huge explosion. So a lot of other people say, oh my God, so we're sitting on all these inventories now of tobacco that's not as strong as Corojo or any of these other Havana 2000. People were just experimenting with it. So what a lot of companies started doing was not fermenting tobacco all the way. So they're fermenting tobacco up to 60%. So when they're going through the fermentation process and you smell the ammonia, they would leave it like that, right? And that's one thing that eventually changed the business, and it became part of our taste. And people like it, don't like it, but if you notice, I think more and more, I mean, not in an epidemic kind of way, but if you notice more and more, Connecticut cigars are slowly beginning to sell less at a smaller rate. It's still the most popular wrapper out there, but people your age, they don't want to smoke a Connecticut cigar. They want to go into something that has more body from the beginning. That's one big thing that changed over the years. Yeah, what tobacco is a process where the ammonia starts coming out, and there's a lot of body to it, but you get all these different kinds of smells, and that's where I get all my ideas. We'll go see that now after this. So that's where I get all my ideas for blends when I start getting those smells. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe it's just the way I grew up in the business. But I just start smelling and I start imagining what I think the blend's gonna look, or the blend's gonna taste like, what the cigar's gonna look like. Think of it as you're buying meat, or you're walking by a restaurant and you smell something, bring it, oh shit, you know what? I'm gonna buy some steak tonight, and I think that has pepper and has that, so you start giving up all these ideas, right? So this is what I want to do. This is what we call I call it the acid test. Not because it's acid, just because it's the only way to see what we're doing. So here we have. All right, so it tells you the farm, tells you when this tobacco was sprung up here, right? This is Habano 2 as a seed my dad's working on, right? And then this is the a Corona. All right, so this is.
We got a
Well, that's the
Bulgarian
second time
customer,
already,
man.
so now we do that. Now it's because it's a lot like this, a lot less offensive. Because the guy was so polite, all of a sudden the guy crossed, he goes, hey, fuck you. I go, oh my God, I love it. That's it, man. That's gonna be our thing. Let me grab two the uglier leaves.
That's for a wrapper, no? It's very elastic.
Yeah, man, good catch. It has good elasticity. The Corona means crown is the top part of the tobacco plant. So if you manage the tobacco plant like this and then the flower coming up in the middle, it looks like a crown. So this is the leaf that takes up all the...
Everything.
It takes up all... So, yeah, you do the primings from the bottom up, right? So when you're taking the primings, you take the leaves from the bottom, all the nutrients just keep going up, and the Corona is the last one you take out. It stays out to the longest, the sun punishes the most. The Eiroa Dark I get from these, but we don't get that many of these leaves. That's why I can't make that many of those cigars, which is frustrating, you know. But I wish I could make more, but you know, I don't mind. I take my time in doing it, and it's no big deal. You're gonna light it like normal. Now what you're gonna taste is you're gonna taste a little bit of the rawness. Because I always come here with him, right? So he knows how to roll with his right hand. So I learned how to do it with my left hand. So my left-handed cigars come out a lot better than the right-handed ones. Shit, as I spoke.
Start talking.
Oh, you know, all right. That means the Chevy's gonna break down for sure now.
So we're gonna go in the Toyota on the way home.
Yeah, the way over here, I go, this, the Toyota killer, Chevy's awesome, never broken down once. By the way, after touching these cigars, do not touch your face, your eyes, because you're gonna see stars. So yeah, you can light the cigars up. So I separate a little bit because the wrapper is about 70% of the flavor. At that point, over the years, we learn to anticipate what the cigar is going to taste like eventually, what the tobacco is going to taste like eventually. You're trying to see what kind of burn it is. If it burns, of course, it's important. And oftentimes, even when the tobacco is in fermentation, you start lighting up the cigars like that, and then you notice if it creates a little bubble around the ring. If it creates a little bubble around the ring, obviously that you need more time for that leaf. Here, this is temperature control. By having the temperature control, the moisture and everything, we control the environment. Because what happens is, you'll feel now in Honduras, it was, not that it was chilly, I mean chilly for us, but the temperature was, I don't know, maybe 70 or 68 this morning. In the middle of the day, it's gonna get up to 80 something. And what that does is, the process accelerates during the day, the drying process, the curing process, but at nighttime, it stops. But when you put the temperature control, the process continues on the whole time. And once the process continues on the whole time, you're able to instead of waiting 45 days, maybe you can turn the barn in 32, 33 days. Because we were talking earlier, we were just talking in the car with the other guys, that what limits us as far as the farm is the tobacco barns. Because you can only fit about an acre and a half per barn. So if you're growing 100 acres, you need 100 barns. So you got to stage it. And you got to make sure, because it's easier to move the tobacco from here to fermentation than to tell the tobacco to stop growing in the field, which you can't do.
So on the rotation, do you grow like a vegetable or something?
Corn. And we did, instead of corn, or we'll do sorghum, because sometimes it depends what the economy is like locally. If you grow corn, people start breaking in and start stealing your corn. And when they harvest your corn, it's stealing from the soil. And he hates it. And it's funny, he gets so angry because he makes money on corn sometimes, because he doesn't want to get tempted to like growing corn, because he's a tobacco guy, man. He doesn't care about anything else. It's just a really good mentality, man. I like it. I admire that about him. You know, I hope I don't know. I hope I become like that, and I hope I don't become like that. I don't know what to tell you.
Somewhere in between?
Yeah, I'm conflicted, man. All right.
I'm just starting to get to the lead.
So these are different experiments that my dad's doing all the time. You know, for many years, I've been like, dude, we need Groh, man. We need 2-3 varieties, but he just likes to grow everything. He's growing broadleaf now. He's growing Kentucky. He's growing all kinds of stuff. He just gets these ideas. If you notice this one, he's curing that with a whole stock at the time.
Yeah.
Slow
death. You know, I've been to Honduras several times, and but I've never done a Christian Eiroa tour. And you know, everybody does a good job. You know, a very nice job. They're very hospitable, and you know, hospitality's nice, and the people are nice. But what I've seen from the years I used to come here to the years now, like this year, I mean, the people in Honduras are more happy. They seem to be much more advanced as far as being able to have travel utensils like a car or a motorcycle. I mean, you could see the progress happening here in just on Lee alone.
All right, so they put the plants here, and one by one they drop them. This is a revolver, and there's a chute that goes all the way down. And there's a part there that'll drill the hole. Then the plant will drop in. and it's a line, then each one is being followed by somebody that just kind of helps the plant stand up. So the guy walks behind him with a little stick, and he's just letting the plant stand up. And so they'll do an hour, they'll do like an acre, 2 acres. So after they're done, 2 or 3 days later, they come back and see what plants didn't make it, and they'll replace them with, that's where you keep the trays around a little bit longer. And then they'll replace it with, I don't know, 100, 200 plants that fell, or 20 or 30, and that's it. They're all set. Now they put these things away, they're gonna get washed up and well taken care of. They go to a special cleaning station. But these things are the really, really, really good machines, man.
When you were younger, you saw them putting it all by hand.
Yeah, a lot more efficient, a lot less people.
Yep.
But the main thing is, it doesn't punish the plant. By the way, if you guys are done with those leaves, you can just unwrap the leaves and throw them on the ground. It's biodegradable, so.
A lot of chloroform in there. They're setting up the lines, yeah.
This was planted yesterday. A couple of things have happened since yesterday. The tobacco was planted. The irrigation drip system, like you see, the pumps over there, the pipes buried under here. These hoses always stick out, and the tubes were laid out, and it's done so that the drop is right where the plant is. So you consume probably 1/300 of the water. My dad started this back in '96. He was one of the first ones to really start doing it. So, and the other thing is what I was just explaining to you guys right now. So they're actually going there, and they want to make sure that the plant's stuck really well, because there's, again, the machine goes by, someone follows it, they make sure they stand it up, but doesn't guarantee that they spend the night well. You know, they come here in the morning to make sure what plant's stuck and didn't stick. If you go, we can walk next to them so you can see what they're doing. It's back-breaking work. Here in Honduras, it's what makes Connecticut so much better, for example, with something like blue mold, is that Connecticut gets frost every year, so it kills the blue mold. Here, the blue mold is always here, and blue mold over the years has developed also an immune system to what we're doing. It really is an amazing, it's an amazing fungus. It's an airborne fungus, disastrous, and that's why Pinareño and Corojo are so hard to grow. And it's really hard communicating that. And so the best thing you can do is just make a really good cigar that people enjoy and they understand the flavor, something like the dark, and like, oh man, that cigar tastes excellent. And say, okay, that's because we're using a leaf that no one else grows. That's why I hate every time that someone would use the Corojo name. And
so actually our business started, my wife lost her job and she wanted to get into something to do. She didn't want to work for anybody. So we looked at different options, you know, some type of, what do they call it, franchise units and stuff. And then one day I just said, hey, what do you think about selling cigars? And I said, you got the personality, you've been in sales, you're good with people. And we went and picked a place and we started in 2003. So she actually ran that business until 2016. I still worked in the corporate world doing my thing and trying to financially, you know, make it stable for Jen and I, and then she would help get the business going and get it to the point where it can hold its own. And so in 2016, I actually took a early retirement package and I joined the Metro team, and it's been great since.
spacing. Did you guys notice that the soil was real flat? Do you remember? I mean, you can go see it on the way back. But anyway, the soil was pretty flat. What happens that a couple of days after, they come with the tools and they start mounting soil over the stem, the stalk of the plant. Because like I said, they absorb a little bit of nutrients from there also. But also, if there's rain, unexpected rain, the water can filter through a lot better there. It doesn't compact the soil. Because when rain is flat, it'll compact the soil. When the soil is compact, they can't get any oxygen. And by doing that also, you're moving the soil. The root itself doesn't go past 6, 8, 10 inches maybe. So the root is not a very strong root. Not like you would think of a tree or something else. Tobacco has pretty lazy roots. So by moving the soil around, you let the tobacco get more nutrients and get more oxygen as it starts growing. Tobacco is going to start growing very, very quickly from this point on. So
we did that. It's been years, you know. Dude, one time we were coming back from the airport, where he flies in, And bro, he had the Hummer, I have my Lincoln, and we're driving down the road, and all of a sudden he just turns right off to the dirt road and calls me. He's like, "Hey man, follow me." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here with that shit, bro." I was like, "Bro, this thing's a sedan, not a Hummer." Oh, I went idle too.
Sembrar ahora, porque mira el frío. Si hubiera puesto de las otras, pero me hubiera jodido.
Land, a lower layer down there. And then we have 40 acres across the street on the other side. This is the side that he's focusing on now. You know, it's I don't think he has it written anywhere, but you know, over the years, over 60 years, my father's already learned which lots he likes best. And the one thing about my dad in the farm, he doesn't, that's a toy he doesn't loan to anybody. So we're always, because I would love to do experiments and do stuff here. He's like, no. You don't touch it, don't play with it.
Do you sell Corojas at
Lots of dirt with seeds. Oh, ours here, 770 acres.
Well, I'll tell you, the favorite part of my trip on the farm, you know, I've seen the seedlings and all that before and all, but when we got to that top of that hill and we looked down on the fields, it was just amazing. You know, would it have looked differently if it was, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 foot plants? Yes, but it looked very, very neat, and you could see the rows of all the seedlings being put inside, and it made no difference to me if it was 4 feet tall or 3 inches tall. It was just amazing.
And that's what it's gonna look like on a cigar. You get an idea that you're getting the, so now you know you're getting the color you want. You go through it the whole thing and you'll sort it. So when you're buying, you look for it. Now this is second priming. The best wrappers are usually 3rd and 4th primings. To my taste, my father's taste, second priming. He likes 2nd and 3rd. I like 3rd, 4th, and of course 5th priming. It's flat. The bulk, when you put the bulk up, it'll start pressing down, and see how the leaves are already squeezed down. So this thing, in a few days, it'll be all the way down in here. Usually it'll be in bulk about 7-8 days each time. And what tells the difference is how much temperature it has and how much moisture still has left. The tobacco is on the top, will go to the bottom. The tobacco is on the outside, goes on the inside. That's the simple. There's no real scientific method in how it's done. They just figured.
It's like a ring house.
Right. Now, do you guys blow smoke out your nose when you smoke? Yep. You blow smoke out your nose?
I've done it a couple of times. I'm still working on it.
You? Do this. I want you to take a whiff and blow the air out your nose. You see how it lingers? Mm-hmm. That's what you're missing out on. So you're missing about 7 or 8 times the flavor.
Oh yeah.
So in essence, you're not really smoking a cigar if you're not blowing out your nose. And it's tricky to learn. You know, it's something you put your tongue on through your mouth. I've learned the best system I learned is you start blowing like you're whistling on your finger, and then just close your mouth, and then the air goes out your nose automatically. So gotta do this fast. It'll dry out very, very quickly. Cut it. The moisture on your tongue ruins the flavor. Affects the flavor, not really affects it.
I noticed that 'cause I burned my tongue.
At the edge here where it starts burning, a black line of, I don't call it charcoal for lack of a better word. Anybody else want to try one? Only when it comes to color.
My favorite cigar from Christian Eiroa is the Eiroa Dark. It's by far my favorite cigar. I'll tell you that Centurium is an amazing piece of work. I can't say the tobacco he uses in there correctly. However, the flavor that it brings to that cigar is just so rewarding. And it just, whenever time I smoke it, I always take a picture and I send it to Christian and I say thank you, because it's that good. And I truly enjoy it. And you know, it's a very expensive cigar for the consumer. It's expensive for me, but I truly enjoy that a lot. So it's unique, it's limited, it's not always available, and he's done a great job with that. And that's some of the things I like about Christian. He's always thinking outside the box, not inside the box.
Buenos días! Get like over here. ¿Qué variedad es esta? Variedad? All right, so these are Sumatra binders. So really, you're always trying to grow a wrapper. The reason these are binders, notice how the color's not even. And now, see this, all right, let me stretch it out. You see the skid marks right here? Cool. You add moisture. You never add water. Water will stain the tobacco. If you drop water here, when you ferment it, you have a black spot. So you're always very careful about that. That the leaf itself, she's gonna start fermenting from the tip. The tip's always gonna be darker, and then it spreads out. You can see the shape. You can see it from afar a lot better. All right? How are those cigars burning?
This burns pretty good. This one kind of was probably me.
Like a little different.
No, you didn't give it a good light. Give it a good light.
The scene where he goes to his
Yeah, still
parents'
making
house
small of
and
an
he
edge. You
goes
see
to
that
his
edge?
house.
See how it bubbles up? No, le falta un
When you're
poquito todavía.
in the
Está
classes
haciendo
that
orilla.
you're born into, it'll be like,
This tobacco's already dry.
Now, Christian, will any of that ammonia come back out as you're fermenting?
Prime Habano. Obviously different lot, different time. ¿Qué cosecha es esta? ¿Qué año? It's 2023 also? Alright. Because being second priming, it's a lot thinner, so it ferments a lot more quickly. But I like that it has that kind of body. I wouldn't. Don't be a nanny, Paul. Get in here. Only your mouth.
okay, actually,
Now I gotta stay. Alright, so anyway, the tobacco's been to fermentation, so you smell that tobacco involved right now, right? So you stuck your nose in there. So obviously the ammonia gets trapped inside the leaf. This system's done. What it does, when it rotates, it allows the ammonia to escape the leaf, and that when you pack it, you don't have that ammonia. It depends on your taste. Again, my father doesn't like strong tobacco. You know, I don't mind it. I want that kind of body. I want that kind of strength. So I will probably not do that much. And you know, I have the barrels, which I never really installed them because I started thinking about it. I want my tobacco to have the ammonia.
And what they do in the old time with the hands.
They'll do it with your hands. The problem is, there's a lot of, first of all, imagine.
Wet it and shit.
That's the work of a week's job. They do it here in 4 hours. And how much tobacco was damaged too. And they had to set it down. And so this is a better system. Rotate. So this is the one we sent pictures. I think Jonathan started doing for Drew Estate. So he started doing his advertising campaigns like he invented this thing. And then Nick Perdomo started doing the same thing.
Oh,
He
yeah.
invented these things.
science question. How does rotating like this just remove the ammonia?
Stand over here for a second.
I regret it.
No. See how it opens up right here? This is the magic right here when it rotates. And then there's a small amount of wind as it's rotating. That's what it's just opening it up. You're airing it out. All right, listen, I'm sure you can accelerate the system. You can probably put a blower in there or an extractor system and do a lot faster. You would have to create a wind current from the bottom, have air come in from the bottom, extract it from the top, and you would suck it out and probably even a lot faster. So this is Habano, fourth priming. Tobacco is ¿qué te lo tengo como viso? Viso. This is viso. All right, so this is filler. Why did it turn filler? Notice the edge is a little burnt. Maybe had a little too much water. You know, it wasn't good enough for binder. Dominicans, this is called frog stripping, where you take the lower third or lower half of the leaf. Dominicans, they strip all the way from here because they want milder cigars. Traditionally, maybe now they cut it down this. I haven't visited many factories, believe it or not, but I've seen in the past that they cut up here. Maybe now they keep a little more of the stem. That's why sometimes from Honduran cigars, you tend to get a little more stems than Dominican cigars. I mean, it doesn't happen every day, but it still does happen. So it's called the frog strip. what they're doing here is, I mean, you can touch them, press it. There's a little moisture on that leaf still.
And so you only crop it that far so that you can keep strength.
Yeah, and just tradition, just about that.
Wow, you're staying with tradition?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed.
No, listen, you know the story about the girl who gets the steak, or the mom who cuts the steak and cuts the edges off, and the daughter says, "Mom, why do you cut the steak that way?" "I don't know, let's ask your grandma, because she taught me to do that." And then ask the grandma, "Grandma, why do you do that?" "Oh, because we couldn't afford a bigger pan, so the steak wouldn't fit." But the mom kept doing it because she thought that's what was supposed to be done the whole time. So anyway, is to get the tobacco in a certain condition, we can now put inside the bale. When it puts inside the bale, tobacco is going to be pressed. Tobacco for Eiroa, regular Eiroa Classic, and the CBT. I aged the tobacco 3-4 years. I'll sit on it in a bale. So the condition has to be good enough, same quality as papers or like a library, like books. Even if, tobacco has the same properties as paper. If a book is too moist, the leaves are going to stick together. It's going to be junk. If it's too dry, they're going to crumble, right? Same thing with tobacco. You can't be too crispy because you'll break it. Because once the tobacco is in the bale, time stops. And it does lose every year, it'll lose X amount, 1, 2, 3% of the body. On the dark, I'm not doing that. On dark, I'm gonna get the tobacco a lot fresher from bulk, because I want that body on purpose. Especially on the Eiroa first 20 cigars, those I really do keep the tobacco very long time.
Nice job.
Paper. Now all of a sudden they start stacking the leaves on top of each other. You see it there? So now they're gonna clamp that together, and then they start sewing it. And the tobacco is gonna sit there now for as long as it's. You can have tobacco bales for 200 or 300 years. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not gonna taste very much. It's gonna lose some flavor.
Right.
It's amazing, right?
Because you also do the same process in the factory, right? You'll
Yeah,
have
we'll do a
these bundles sitting there.
No, once it gets to the factory, the bale's ready for us to just open up. We'll go into a room, you see, we'll open it up. We'll give the wrapper another process.
Yep.
If we don't like the colors, that they're not even enough, give a different process. We don't use.
So you'll resort there again?
Yes, we do resort. You'll see the sorting also. This is these are the cuarto corte. Habana. This is fourth priming also. Pretty much the same one we saw whether they were drying out. Ah, ¿este es el mismo que está sacando?
el mismo que estamos
Okay.
You want to go around the side?
Huh?
Yeah, over there. The box factory. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So cigars have to match. Another thing that I love about the way these pills work, I mean, just in general, everybody does it. Notice how even all the bands are.
Oh, yeah.
Even when do the tissue wrap also, how even all that stuff is. That stuff never stops to impress me. So we talked about it yesterday a little bit, right? So when I moved down here was when NAFTA was going on, and everything that everybody kept talking about was total quality management, calidad total in Spanish. And we spent a lot of time understanding and teaching all of our staff that these girls are the last ones to see the cigars before they head to your stores. Just like the guy who rolled the cigar, he's the one that knows whether he rolled it right. The guy that bunched the cigar, he's the most important job because they had a draw. That guy who makes the box, that's the most important job because he has to make sure, and the guy who inspects. So every job is incredibly important, right? Everybody has the most important job in the whole chain. But these girls, of course, have a tremendous amount of responsibility because until you open up those cigars in your store, you don't know what's coming. But now you have to be at the point where you trust the people you're doing business with. The cigars are going to show up all right and exactly the way they should be and consistent. Part of the experience for your customer, same thing. Rolex doesn't sell their watches in a plastic bag, has a nice package, everything. The packaging has to match the whole experience. One of the reasons I started doing the tissue wrap on the cigars was because I really absolutely detest cellophane. I think cellophane is the worst thing you could do. Imagine having some whiskey and straight from the barrel, you immediately put it inside a bottle. It never breathed and never developed into anything. Cigars have been manipulated ever since they were being made. They were put in the escaparate rooms, all things, so they lost the flavor of tobacco because the human hands polluted that flavor. So we put the cigars back inside the cigar box with each other. They marry each other, they pick up each other's smell. It does a lot better. With Eiroa, we go a few steps further. Eiroa makes sure that the cedar becomes a part of the flavor also. If you ever take off, when you're smoking Eiroa tonight, or whenever you smoke it, take the tissue off that cigar and smell the tissue. It smells like cedar and it smells like that. That's why I would love, we have that caption, buy it by the box kid. I don't know, it's posted. That smell is lost. Obviously when you put cigars inside the store, and you open up that lid, it's gone. Buenas tardes.
With other manufacturers, but I still find it very rewarding because everybody does crops differently. So the crops here are different than the crops in Nicaragua than they are in the DR. So the blending process is a lot more work than maybe when you do it for the first time. It's overwhelming because you have no idea how to mix to get that proper balance or what you're looking for. So they have a team here that helps you out, which is nice, and it's just so much fun. So the challenge is when you make multiple blends, which one's your favorite, you know? And to me, both of those were my favorite. So, but Rupert, you made me pick one. So I had to pick one, and it was great, and I enjoyed it. So it was fun. I really enjoyed that. It's always fun. I could do that 50 more times and still enjoy it just the same amount of enjoyment that I did.
Lajero's right here in these three
Very good, but you gotta blend it right.
That's
you
the
know?
thing. You can't just. I mean, well, in my opinion, you can't just do all the Lajero. You gotta have some mix in there.
You can kill it.
Exactly. Those are up here, and then your binders are right here as well. These three options up here. So you have Mexican, Groho, and Criollo options there, and then your binders up here. You have Habano.
What's this?
This one is Criollo.
Binder.
Binder. Sorry, sorry, I said binder. And then your wrapper right here. You're gonna have Mexican, Corojo, and Habano. Like I said, you can take them out, feel them, smell
So
them.
I want a Corojo.
You want? Okay.
I
Here.
want
So let's
lots
do
of
this.
spice.
You're good. Okay, right here. Write your name down there. And I'll help you. There's going to be which on it. But I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it's whatever you pick. Obviously, you go heavy on Lajero, heavy on Mexican, or the Habano. I mean, obviously. Yeah, we have some Mexican. Did mine last time.
Yeah, right down against
I
the
should
little
go
spot right down there where the gap is there.
A little handful there.
And then me and the
Peel it open right there in the middle.
Yeah,
Stick your nose right in
I
there.
have some friends that will
Ooh,
show
it's
you.
right
chocolatey.
in there.
Okay. Never been able to do this before. Like,
So, yeah,
smell
you
each
can
one.
All right, what kind of binder are you thinking here?
Well,
Mexican, Corojo, or Criollo?
I wanted the Criollo.
Criollo. All right, now you got your options on your filler. I mean, you can Lajero, Seco.
So up to how many leaves can I do? 3?
yeah,
two and a
well,
half?
I mean, you can do 3 or 4 if you like.
Yeah. Okay, so I want a whole leaf of Lajero.
Okay.
But what's the difference in
So
the
up here,
Lajero?
up here's you're gonna be your stronger Lajero. I mean, so think of it as like your stronger, your medium, and your lower, and in terms of strength Lajero.
All right, I think I'm going to go medium on the
Okay.
Lajero, but I'm going to do a full leaf of that. But it doesn't, you know, and there's something to be said about when the first one you make, it has some type of a bond to you because it's the first one you did, and you make it and you're like, holy cow, that tastes good. I enjoy that. So when you make your second blend or your third blend to try to figure out where you really are, it gets a little confusing because you're like, oh man. And then you always go back to that first one because somehow there's some type of a marriage between you and that cigar that bonded together, and you're like, you know, that's it. That's the one I love, and that's the one you stick with.
That happened to me too.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
The first one.
It
was
happens.
good.
I put it, and I find notes of Häagen-Dazs chocolate ice cream here.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Are you smoking tobacco or weed? Come on,
Yeah. Sometimes some people get very
creative.
very creative.
Yeah.
Very creative. Yeah.
I've tried to read the descriptions and the characterization of a cigar, and then I try to smoke it and see if I pick any of that up. You really have to think about it,
Really that, but a lot of times.
which really actually destroyed my enjoyment of the cigar. Test.
I was drinking Coke
If you
Zero.
drink water, you have to drink water through the whole
Exactly.
thing. You
Oh,
can't mix it up.
yeah, because everything affects flavor.
That's right.
Lots of that.
Not only that, don't eat.
Huh?
Not only that, don't eat.
Yeah.
You know, so don't.
I wear this every day.
Oh my God.
Good. I'm gonna wear these into the store every day. I can just clean it every
There
day.
you go. Yeah, that's your new uniform.
Beautiful.
And when he drinks,
I'm gonna make you one
Christian,
called.
what
I'm
are
gonna make you one called Maury Cohn.
Optimus Prime.
No, they button.
You know you got a button. Yeah.
Nike call me. What is your size?
He's gonna need help.
No. You got to record this. Just keep recording.
How you want help?
Oh my god.
Maybe you should have been a 3X. Hey, come be fine.
Does it fit all right? Yeah, it looks good,
I
man.
mean, he's got a shirt underneath it too, so. And just keep the.
Don't put that on camera.
These are not Honduran. These are red cats.
That's US.
Whoa, isn't that beautiful? Oh, I'll just tell you, this is by far a very exciting adventure. You know, Christian Eiroa has done a great job in this industry. His father is a legend as far as what I can tell of what he does in the farms. The history goes back amazingly to, you know, from the seed and how he does things and the way they cultivate it. Christian's developing into that and starting to learn more and more from his father as far as the plant growing. He's done some very unique things in different areas, which has created some very, very good cigars. And I anticipate that's going to continue for a long, long time.